Actually, during that time, I was very, very angry because I was learning about the history of what happened to us. And that's what Roots did to me. It brought a lot of those feelings out of me that I didn't know that they were there. And I became very disturbed by it. And I became very angry, and I started to retaliate in school. And it took my mother to come to me and tell me, it's a history, it's something that you should never forget, but you can rise above it and make an impact and make a change and make people aware of what, some of the pain that we have endured, and make sure that, your kids or no one else surrounding you or anybody that you may have influence doesn't have to go through that type of pain. But at first, I was very disturbed by it, and I retaliated.
Michael Jordan respected competition more than friendship. He played 15 seasons, won 6 championships, 5 MVPs, and built his legacy on punishing anyone who challenged his authority on the court. But Jordan didn't hand out respect easily, and when he felt someone crossed a line, he never forgot it. This isn't about trash talk or normal rivalries. Jordan faced Hall of Famers, elite defenders, and relentless competitors every night. Most of them earned his respect, even if they lost to him. But a few didn't. Some played the game in ways Jordan despised, some challenged him before earning it, others embarrassed themselves when given responsibility, and a few became personal long before the final buzzer. Jordan has spoken openly over the years, in interviews, books, and documentaries, about players who rubbed him the wrong way. Not because they beat him, but because of how they carried themselves, how they competed, or how they handled pressure when it mattered.
I really don't have regrets. I am a person that says, as soon as you look back in your history and you come up with something that you feel like you want to change, something else has to change.
When Michael Jordan says he never respected someone, it's not emotion talking, it's memory, it's history, and it's backed by real moments on the court. These are the 5 players Michael Jordan never respected, and the exact reasons why. Before we start, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next breakdown. Michael Jordan's relationship with Isiah Thomas is the most strained rivalry of his career, and it goes beyond normal competition. Jordan entered the NBA in 1984 as an immediate star. Isiah Thomas was already the leader of the Detroit Pistons and one of the best point guards in the league. Early on, their relationship was professional. That changed once Detroit became the main barrier to Jordan's success. From 1988 to 1990, the Pistons eliminated the Bulls in 3 straight playoff series. Those losses shaped Jordan's early career. Detroit's strategy, later known as the Jordan Rules, was designed to stop Jordan through physical pressure. Double teams, hard fouls, and constant contact were part of the plan. Jordan accepted physical defense as playoff reality, but he believed Detroit crossed the line into deliberate punishment. Jordan addressed this years later in The Last Dance. He said the Pistons went after you and tried to hurt you.
We had a chance to beat them. We just didn't respond. We got to that hill. We almost looked over the hill. And I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated. I cried on the bus. My father came on and said, look, it's just one game. Bounce back, come back next year.
He never singled out Isiah as the enforcer, but he consistently viewed Isiah as the leader who allowed that style. In Jordan's mind, responsibility followed leadership. The defining moment came in the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals. Chicago finally defeated Detroit, sweeping them in 4 games. As the clock ran down in Game 4, Isiah Thomas and several Pistons walked off the court without shaking hands. Jordan noticed immediately. He later said the Pistons showed no class. That moment became the emotional breaking point of the rivalry. For Jordan, how you lost mattered as much as how you won. He had endured years of physical losses against Detroit. When the Pistons refused to acknowledge defeat, Jordan viewed it as confirmation of everything he disliked about their approach. Off the court, the distance grew. One incident often mentioned is a 1985 Nike-related trip where Jordan felt Isiah tried to limit his involvement. Isiah later said it wasn't intentional, but Jordan never embraced that explanation. Whether misunderstanding or rivalry, it added to the tension. The issue resurfaced publicly in 1992 with the Dream Team. Isiah Thomas was left off the roster, despite his resume. Jordan has never openly said he blocked Isiah's inclusion, but multiple teammates, including Scottie Pippen, stated they would not have played if Isiah was on the team.
Did you want him on the team?
Well, I can't speak for Michael, but no, I did not want him on the team.
Jordan never disputed those statements. In The Last Dance, when asked if Isaiah deserved a spot, Jordan paused, smiled, and declined to answer. Statistically, Jordan dominated against Detroit. From 1988 to 1990, he averaged over 32 points per game in playoff series against the Pistons, but Chicago lost all 3 matchups. Jordan respected winning, but he didn't respect how Detroit achieved it. That distinction mattered to him. After retirement, Isaiah attempted reconciliation multiple times. He publicly praised Jordan and expressed regret over how things ended. Jordan never responded. When asked about rivals he respected, Jordan consistently named Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and others. Isaiah's name was absent. This rivalry never healed because Jordan never felt it needed to. From his perspective, the Pistons' physical tactics, the walk-off in 1991, and years of unresolved tension defined the relationship. Jordan moved on without closure. Michael Jordan didn't treat Isaiah Thomas like a rival who earned respect through competition. He treated him as someone who crossed lines Jordan never forgot and never chose to forgive. Bill Laimbeer's place in Michael Jordan's career is defined less by words and more by absence. Jordan has spoken openly about rivals he respected: Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Clyde Drexler, even defenders who made his life difficult. Laimbeer's name has never been part of that conversation. Over time, that omission became telling. When Jordan entered the NBA in 1984, Laimbeer was already a core piece of the Detroit Pistons. He wasn't a franchise scorer, but he was central to Detroit's identity. As the Pistons' starting center throughout the late 1980s, Laimbeer rebounded, spaced the floor, set punishing screens, and anchored a defensive style built on constant physical pressure. Jordan never objected to physical basketball. In fact, he added significant muscle in the late 1980s, specifically to handle playoff contact. What bothered him wasn't strength or toughness, it was intent. Jordan consistently described Detroit's approach as targeting players rather than plays. Within that system, Laimbeer became the most visible symbol. During the Bulls-Pistons playoff matchups from 1988 to 1990, Laimbeer was frequently involved when Jordan attacked the rim. Detroit collapsed defensively, and Laimbeer was often the final body rotating over. The contact was heavy, late, and repetitive across multiple series. These weren't isolated moments tied to one game. They were part of how Detroit defended. Jordan later said the Pistons went after you and tried to wear opponents down physically. While he didn't single out Laimbeer every time, league-wide perception filled in the gap. Players, coaches, and media routinely described Laimbeer as Detroit's enforcer, the one most willing to absorb criticism to maintain the Pistons' edge. What separated Laimbeer from other physical defenders was that he openly embraced that role. In interviews, he admitted his job was to make opponents uncomfortable. That honesty reinforced his reputation, but it didn't earn Jordan's admiration. Jordan respected defenders who challenged him with positioning, discipline, and timing. He didn't extend that same respect to players whose impact relied on borderline fouls and provocation. The results favored Detroit early. The Pistons eliminated the Bulls in the 1988 Eastern Conference semifinals, the 1989 Eastern Conference Finals, and the 1990 Eastern Conference Finals. Jordan averaged over 30 points per game in those series, often carrying an enormous offensive load, but scoring came with punishment, and Laimbeer was consistently part of that experience. There was also the perception around how Laimbeer played offensively. Around the league, he developed a reputation for delivering heavy contact on defense, while exaggerating contact on offense. Jordan viewed that contrast as gamesmanship rather than toughness. While Jordan never publicly accused Laimbeer by name, his broader criticism of flopping during that era aligned closely with Laimbeer's reputation. By the time Chicago finally broke through in 1991, Jordan's opinion was already set. When the Pistons walked off the court without shaking hands, Laimbeer's participation didn't change anything. It simply confirmed what Jordan already believed about Detroit's core identity. After the rivalry ended, Jordan never revised his stance. In later interviews and documentaries, he praised many former opponents. Laimbeer was never mentioned. Jordan didn't credit him as a great defender or a smart competitor. He simply left him out. From a resume standpoint, Laimbeer's career stands on solid ground. 4-time All-Star, 2-time NBA champion, and a key contributor to a dominant defensive team. But Jordan didn't measure respect by accolades. He measured it by how an opponent competed when the game was hardest. In Jordan's view, Bill Laimbeer didn't challenge him to elevate his game through skill or preparation. He was part of a style Jordan was determined to beat, and once beaten, never felt the need to acknowledge again. Reggie Miller's place on Michael Jordan's list is unique. Jordan didn't have an issue with Miller's talent. He had an issue with Miller's positioning. Specifically, Miller framing himself as Jordan's rival before Jordan believed he had earned that status. Their relationship developed as the Bulls and Pacers became regular postseason opponents. Miller was Indiana's star, an elite shooter, relentless mover without the ball, and one of the league's most confident personalities. His confidence wasn't limited to the court. Miller spoke openly about competing with Jordan and referred to their matchups as rivalries. Jordan noticed. On the floor, Jordan handled Miller directly. The Bulls and Pacers met 4 times in the playoffs during Jordan's career, 1989 and 1991 in the first round, 1995 in the Eastern semifinals, and 1998 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Chicago won 3 of those 4 series. Indiana's lone victory came in 1995, when Jordan had returned late from baseball and was still working back into form. When Jordan was fully himself, the outcomes were clear. The defining moment came in 1998. Indiana pushed Chicago to 7 games in one of the toughest series of Jordan's career. Miller had big shots, emotional swings, and crowd-moving moments. But when the series reached its final possessions, Jordan controlled it. In Game 7, Jordan scored 28 points, dictated tempo, and closed Indiana's best chance at a finals appearance. After the series, Jordan didn't elevate Miller's performance. He dismissed the rivalry itself. In The Last Dance, Jordan reacted to footage of Miller calling himself his rival by laughing and saying, "Reggie Miller was no rival of mine." The line wasn't emotional or defensive. It was matter of fact. For Jordan, rivalry required shared control of outcomes. He didn't believe that existed here. Statistically, the gap supported Jordan's view. Jordan consistently outperformed Miller in playoff scoring, efficiency, and two-way impact. Miller was an elite shooter and a clutch scorer, but he never dictated a series the way Jordan did. Jordan respected production under pressure. He did not respect self-assigned labels. There were also stylistic differences that shaped Jordan's perception. Miller was known for drawing fouls through movement, using screens aggressively, and exaggerating contact to earn whistles. Those tactics were legal and effective, but Jordan never admired them. He believed in beating defenders directly, through isolation, footwork, and physical balance, not by gaming officiating tendencies. When Miller crossed the line with trash talk or gestures, Jordan didn't respond verbally. He responded with possessions. Teammates and opponents have recalled games where Jordan took Miller personally after comments, guarding him more aggressively and attacking him offensively. Jordan's message was always the same: control the game, end the conversation. After retirement, the tone never shifted. Jordan has spoken respectfully about many former opponents, including players who challenged him physically or beat him in key moments. With Miller, that praise never came. Jordan never revisited the rivalry, reframed it, or softened his stance. Miller, on the other hand, has consistently praised Jordan. He has called him the greatest player ever and acknowledged how difficult it was to compete against him. That respect was never fully returned. Jordan didn't dislike Reggie Miller. He didn't fear him. He didn't feel threatened by him. He simply never accepted the premise that they were equals. For Michael Jordan, respect was earned through outcomes, through series wins, control of moments, and dominance when the stakes were highest. And when Jordan looked back at his career, Reggie Miller didn't meet that standard. Not because he wasn't great, but because the results never put him there.
People ask why I hated Reggie Miller. Here's your answer.
Gary Payton is one of the few players who openly claimed he had figured Michael Jordan out, and that claim, more than anything else, shaped how Jordan viewed him.
And then when I slow him down, don't worry about me. I'll figure it out. So when he did that, I slowed him down. You know what I'm saying? And that's all we had. We knew we couldn't stop him. We just had to slow him down. We had to make other players do what they had to do. And that's when Pippen and Kukoc picked it up. But I slowed him down. And we won the next 2 games.
His reputation as one of the league's best perimeter defenders. By the mid-1990s, he was a 9-time All-Defensive selection, a Defensive Player of the Year, and the emotional leader of the Seattle Supersonics. He talked constantly, pressured ball handlers full court, and prided himself on wearing opponents down mentally as much as physically. Jordan noticed the talk but didn't engage until Payton made it public. The flashpoint came during the 1996 NBA Finals. Chicago won the series in 6 games, but after Seattle adjusted defensively in games 4 and 5, Payton publicly stated that he had changed the matchup and made things difficult for Jordan. He said he should have guarded Jordan from the start and implied that the series might have gone differently. Jordan didn't appreciate that framing. Statistically, Jordan's finals numbers dipped after Payton became the primary defender, but context mattered. By the time Payton took the assignment, the Bulls were already up 3-0. Chicago relaxed offensively, Scottie Pippen was dealing with back issues, and Jordan shifted into a more playmaking role. Even then, Jordan averaged 27 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists for the series, and closed the championship in Game 6. Jordan addressed Peyton's comments years later in The Last Dance. When asked about Peyton claiming defensive success, Jordan smirked and said, "I had no problem with the glove. The tone wasn't defensive, it was dismissive." For Jordan, defense wasn't about making someone uncomfortable for a stretch, it was about controlling the outcome. Chicago won the title. Jordan won Finals MVP. That ended the discussion. There was also a philosophical clash. Peyton relied heavily on talk, constant commentary, needling, and public confidence. Jordan used silence. He believed true defensive impact showed up in results, not quotes. When Peyton discussed moral victories or partial success, Jordan viewed it as noise. The matchup history reinforced Jordan's view. Jordan and Peyton faced each other multiple times in the regular season and playoffs. Jordan consistently produced against Seattle's defenses and never lost a playoff series to the Sonics. Peyton could pressure him, but he couldn't stop him from deciding games. After retirement, Peyton continued to speak about the matchup, often highlighting those finals games as proof of his defensive ability. Jordan never pushed back aggressively. He didn't need to. The record stood. Jordan has praised elite defenders before. He spoke highly of players who challenged him quietly and consistently. With Peyton, that praise never arrived. Jordan never credited him as someone who altered his approach or forced him into a different tier of difficulty. That silence mattered. Jordan didn't deny Peyton's defensive resume. He simply rejected the idea that Peyton changed anything that mattered. Titles, finals MVPs, and outcomes defined Jordan's standard. Gary Payton believed he earned recognition by making Jordan work. Jordan believed recognition came from winning, and nothing else. That difference explains why Peyton's confidence never translated into Jordan's respect. Jerry Stackhouse is not remembered as one of Michael Jordan's great rivals, and that's precisely why his name belongs on this list. Jordan didn't view Stackhouse as a threat, a challenger, or even a true peer. What bothered him was that Stackhouse tried to present himself as one, loudly and publicly, without backing it up when it mattered. Stackhouse entered the league in 1995 with enormous expectations. He was the third overall pick, an explosive scorer, and one of the most athletic wings of his generation. Early in his career, he spoke openly about his confidence and his belief that he could score on anyone in the league, including Jordan. Jordan heard that. The two faced each other frequently in the late 1990s and early 2000s, when Jordan was still the league's standard and Stackhouse was bouncing between roles in Philadelphia, Detroit, and later Washington. Stackhouse's reputation was built on volume scoring and fearlessness. He attacked relentlessly and didn't shy away from big names. But Jordan measured players by results, not bravado. On the court, the gap was obvious. Jordan consistently outperformed Stackhouse in head-to-head matchups, often guarding him directly late in games. When Stackhouse tried to assert himself, Jordan responded with control, dictating tempo, picking spots, and forcing Stackhouse into inefficient shots. The most telling moment came in 2002, when Stackhouse played for the Detroit Pistons, and Jordan was with the Washington Wizards. Stackhouse publicly stated that Jordan was no longer the same player and implied that he could be targeted defensively. Jordan responded on the court by scoring 51 points against Detroit, one of the highest totals of his Wizards tenure. After the game, Jordan didn't celebrate or engage. He simply said, "I took it personally." That line, now famous, captured the entire dynamic. Jordan didn't mind challenges. He minded premature ones. Stackhouse's problem wasn't confidence. Jordan admired confidence when it was earned. The issue was that Stackhouse talked like someone who had arrived, while his career lacked the consistency, leadership, and postseason impact Jordan respected. Statistically, Stackhouse had strong scoring seasons. He averaged over 20 points per game multiple times, and even led the league in total points in 2001. But those numbers came on high usage and middling efficiency, often without translating into team success. Jordan noticed that distinction. Jordan respected players who bent games toward winning. Stackhouse bent games toward shots. There was also a stylistic disconnect. Stackhouse relied heavily on athleticism and volume. Jordan valued shot selection, timing, and situational awareness. When Stackhouse forced offense, Jordan viewed it as undisciplined basketball, the opposite of how he believed the game should be played. After Jordan retired for good, Stackhouse softened his tone and spoke respectfully about him. He acknowledged Jordan's greatness and admitted he may have talked too much early in his career. Jordan never revisited the relationship publicly, and that silence matters. Jordan has revisited rivalries when he felt respect was earned, even with players who beat him or challenged him physically. With Stackhouse, there was nothing to revisit. Jordan didn't see a rivalry worth remembering. Jerry Stackhouse wasn't someone Jordan hated. He was someone Jordan dismissed, not because he lacked talent, but because he tried to skip steps Jordan believed were non-negotiable. For Michael Jordan, respect came from sustained excellence, leadership, and winning under pressure. Stackhouse never reached that bar. For Michael Jordan, respect was never about talent alone. It was about earning your place through consistency, restraint, and winning when the pressure was highest. And if a player tried to shortcut that process, Jordan didn't argue. He simply moved on. And if you want to see another all-time great draw those same hard lines, check out our previous video where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar breaks down the 6 players he never respected and explains why even legends don't get a free pass. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments.